I started probably seriously collecting in 1990, and that's when I was doing a lot of traveling. I wanted my son to be exposed to all kinds of different cultures and varieties and different trips that we could take and experience together.
I enjoyed pop culture, such I've always enjoyed advertising. I started collecting autographs, which I enjoyed mainly TV personalities.
With my background in sports, media, broadcasting, I have the privilege to cover all the major sporting teams in the city of Chicago. I just began to collect memorabilia or signature autograph items from these particular athletes, whether it's Walter Payton, Michael Jordan, Sammy Sosa, all these, iconic names here in the Chicagoland area.
I was in a restaurant and somebody handed me a $10 bill, and it looked weird, it looked like gold. It has a gold certificate around it, so I was like, this is real. Then I just kept it to myself, and then I did a little research on it, and it turned out that it was real. The U.S. made some gold certificates bills.
I became a principal in 1995, an elementary school principal, and I had a lovely office where I could display all of them. And it was fascinating for the children to come and see. And then once people became aware that I was collecting them, I was getting them as gifts all the time.
I have a lot of interesting items, mainly televisions, which I grew up with televisions, which movies were far less important to me as growing up than televisions. They were in my living room.
Yes.
The movie people which were on a big screen in a dark theater.
I wanted to, be a professional athlete, but of course the good Lord upstairs said, hey, I didn't give you all the skills to do that. You're a good athlete, but I don't know if you're that good. And so I ventured into a transition from playing sports to wanting to talk about it and share it with others.
I see my family and sometimes they come over and they're like, oh, can you show me your collection? And then they ask me about the history of the coin, when was made, how old is it, and things like that. So I was like, I want to share it with you.
I had some students from other countries, so when they would see that I had a snow globe from their country, I could show it to them and say, I was in Portugal, and I was in Spain, or I was in South America, and so this is where I traveled to, and I remember seeing these places, and then it would start a conversation about country they came from, the language that they spoke, and they felt connection and they felt more comfortable. They're drawn to it a little bit because it's not just a statue. It usually has some story in it or some significant place that they may want to travel to or they've been to and now they're remembering it again.
Disney characters don't mean anywhere near as much to me as Hanna-Barbera. Hanna-Barbera, they were in my living room. So.
Michael Jordan, the first time that he retired, they had a big ceremony at the United Center for him. All the dignitaries, everyone was there. At the end of the event, the festivities and everything, Michael Jordan was with his family, and they were waiting down below the United Center to get into the limousine and go on home. And Walter Payton was down there as well. And so I was walking with my camera guy, and I saw Michael. And I said, wow, and I saw Walter, and I had a relationship with both of them, and something just popped in my head. Hey, Jerry, why don't you get a picture with both these guys? So we walk over, my camera guy is ready, snaps the picture, boom. It's one of two, maybe three photos that Walter Payton and Michael Jordan were actually together.
I love history, all type of history, I love it. And that's a little part of the United States history. And then, and the coins and the bills, they tell a lot of story. There's a lot of shipwrecks they're from Spain that they didn't make it to Spain. They came through America and they were getting some gold out of it, like Mexico. Most of them, they got like coins, gold coins, and they were cheap they put them in ships and they were trying to take to Spain. Gotcha. But a lot of them, they didn't make it. So in the scene, there's a lot of shipwrecks with a lot of gold.
When I share those stories and share, how I was able to come about it, I think it can inspire people to step out of their shell, so to speak, and do something that they probably normally would not do, because you never know what lies behind that movement, that opportunity.
There's nothing that makes you feel better when you've done something or accumulate something, you can share it. And a lot of people don't want your collection, but they like to look at it.